Welcome to everybody to this hustings for the local elections in Harrow. And we've invited all the main parties to attend, and thank you very much. We've got 4 parties that have agreed to come and hear about what's important to disabled people and tell us what they think is important, what they can be working on. We haven't yet had a response from Conservatives or Reform. They may still turn up this evening, but I've not had a communication that they plan to. Just to start off with, if anyone needs a toilet, I don't know if you all know the building, but if you go out of the main door, turn right and go along the corridor to the double doors, and through there are toilets for women, there are toilets for men, there's an accessible toilet. There is no fire alarm planned, so if the fire alarm does go off, we just exit immediately, and we can exit either by this door over here, which is on my left to the long table that everybody's sitting on, or out through the main door that we came in. But hopefully it won't be needed. And can I just say that by definition, most people who have come here have come because you have an interest in what's happening in the world, and you probably have strong political opinions of your own, and that's good. But can I just ask that, can everyone be very respectful to everybody? The 4 politicians are very busy at the moment and have agreed to take time out to come and meet us, which I really thank them for. And I would say that no matter what your own views or your own politics are, can you please just give them respect, no heckling, nothing disrespectful towards anyone when they're talking at all, please. It's being live streamed on Facebook, and we have about 1,000 people potentially. I don't think there's going to be that many online, but potentially there could be. So I just want, particularly for the politicians, to be aware of that when you're talking. We're going to keep the cameras mostly on the politicians and myself, as opposed to the audience. And if any of you at the end want to ask a question, I'll get you to come round to the front and speak into the microphone so that you don't have to be on camera unless you want to be. Okay. Can I just ask that you only speak when you have the microphone, everyone only speaks when you have the microphone, because otherwise it's going to be impossible for everyone to hear what each other has to say, and we're going to lose the benefit of the whole point of the hustings. And it's particularly going to be difficult for people who are listening online if there's a lot of talking in the background. We tried to get a BSL interpreter, but we did arrange this quite late, and I do appreciate people who've made the time to come. It was quite a late thing, and we weren't able to get an interpreter, which isn't ideal. And can I ask that politicians, when you're speaking, if you keep your language simple, don't use acronyms, and if there's something that seems complicated, if you can give an explanation for people when you're talking, okay. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to introduce you all one at a time and ask you to just tell us for 3 or 4 minutes what your priorities are. So I'm going to start with you, Pamela, from Arise. If you can tell us what are the key things for you. Now you may have to, this may stretch, or you may have to, it's going to stretch. So,
which way you go?
Sorry, I'm going to be lifting it over your heads. Okay. Sorry, everybody. There you go.
Thanks, Angela. Thank you, avoiding everybody's water there. And thank you, Had, for inviting me to this hustings. It's good to be back at the Red Brick. The organisation I work for was based here for 3 years, quite some time ago, but I spent a lot of time in this building and in this wonderful cafe. So thank you, it's good to be back. So my name's Pamela Fitzpatrick. I'm from a new political party called Arise. And Arise is specifically for Harrow, and it's made up of local people who've been active in the community for many years, often working in charities, but mutual aid and other things. So we've got very rooted in the community. It was formed really after the last general election in recognition that all the established parties have failed us. They have failed to make lives better for the majority of us. And there was a recognition on the doorstep that we just need something else. So we formed Arise last year, early last year. We selected candidates, and all of our candidates are people, as I said, who've been rooted in the community. We're not standing paper candidates. We don't believe in that. We think if you're going to vote for somebody, it needs to be somebody who's got a track record in the community. So we are standing 11 candidates across 5 wards in Harrow. And I've got some leaflets here if you want later on so that you can see them. So for what are the kind of key issues in Harrow? Well, anybody who's aware and involved in the community knows that one of the big issues in Harrow is housing and poverty. And people think of Harrow as being some wealthy suburb, and it is for some, but for many of us, it is a place that has really poor housing, and that's mainly because both Labour and Conservative, government and local authorities, have decided to put housing in the hands of the private sector. We have one of the lowest levels of council housing of any boroughs. And so people on ordinary incomes, low incomes, modest incomes are forced into the private sector. And what you'll see is more and more developments that are being built, particularly around this area in the poorer parts of Harrow. You won't see these developments in Stanmore or Hatch End or Pinner. They're forced here, and we're told, we're sold the idea that we need them because there's a housing crisis. But I can tell you, the people who need the housing are not getting housing in those tower blocks. But they're largely empty and used as investments. They're too expensive for most people. And all the while, we have more and more tower blocks unaffordable. We have more and more HMOs. We have landlords who are allowing properties to fall into disrepair. And the council, whether it has been Labour or Conservative, has failed to act upon rogue landlords, despite having huge powers to do so. And we now have a situation where even housing associations fall into that category of being rogue landlords. So I can talk a bit later. I don't want to talk too long at the start. Come back to the policies that we have, but they're all about making life better for ordinary people, getting things that are for the community, the needs of the community, not the greed of a few. We're all people who are not career politicians. We're not in it for anything else apart from making the community better, and most of us have a track record of doing so. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Pamela. I'm going to pass it to Alex next from the Green Party. There you go.
Hi everyone, my name's Alex. I'm from the Green Party. I'm the chair of the Harrow Greens, and I joined the Green Party in 2013. I've lived in Harrow my whole life, and I kind of want to start with a story. So in 2013, I lost my sight to a rare genetic disease. It was a really difficult time because the Lib Dems and the Tories coalition, their cruel cuts, I think a lot of you might have experienced the same with austerity. And I joined the Green Party because we were the only ones talking and standing up for disabled people. So the Harrow Association for Disabled People is actually really close to my heart. Gladys was one of the people who helped me actually fill out the personal independence payment form. So I wouldn't really, it was a really difficult time for me, and HAD has been so supportive. And what I realized at that time was it's not just me. So many people across Harrow, so many disabled people across Harrow are experiencing the same thing every day. Lots of disabled people died then, and lots of disabled people are struggling right now at no fault of their own as well. We didn't ask to be disabled. We just live in a society that doesn't allow disabled people to live fulfilling lives. With this in mind, that's what we want to change in the Green Party. Labour want to push those cruel cuts even further with planned cuts to access to work and making it even harder to qualify for PIP. In the Green Party, we believe that society should be built with disabled people in mind, with disabled people first, whether that's accessible housing, social care, or transport. We live in an inaccessible society, and the Green Party will always put disabled people first. In the Harrow Green Party, there are 4 people in the exec, and 2 of us are disabled. That really shows how much we care about disabled people. On the 7th of May, vote Green. Thank you.
Oh, hello. Do tell me if you can't hear me or if it goes distorted. My name's Simon Brown. I'm standing for Labour in Harrow. I've been a Labour councillor for a long time now. I represent Headstone Ward, and previously I was looking after adult services in Harrow up until 2022. I think, as others have said, I would like to thank HADS for inviting us all here tonight to give an opportunity to take your questions. I'm only going to talk like for 2 minutes because I really want to hear what you want, what your questions are, what you have to say. But it's clear that we do need change in Harrow. It's clear that the cost of living is affecting everyone within our community, and some more disproportionately than others. And one of the things that we're looking to do is to cut costs for ordinary residents. And we're going to start by freezing council tax for the first year and see how that goes, to start putting money back in people's pockets. We want to look, as Pamela had says, at housing, because it's quite true. There is very limited opportunity for affordable housing. There is very much private rented accommodation that is too expensive, that is not fit for purpose. There are too many unregulated houses of multiple occupation not giving the service that they should be to our residents. So we will be looking to address these. I've also brought some pledges, some pledge cards, so you can see in more detail what we're proposing for Harrow. So thank you for inviting me. I'm going to sit down now and listen to your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Joesph Gaunt. I am chair of the Harrow Liberal Democrats, and I'm also a candidate in Pinner. I'd also like to start by thanking HAD for having us here. I have not actually been to this building before. This is actually my first hustings ever before, so I'm really excited to be here with you all today. Now, I don't consider myself as someone who lives with a disability, and I understand that with that means that I have to look at myself and my own potential unconscious biases to understand more about how I can help people who are living with disabilities. And I make it my business to do that. And some of you will know the Lib Dems, some of you won't. Some of you will know Ed Davey, who is the leader of the Lib Dems, and is a carer and has been all of his life, caring for people, his family members with cancer and a disabled child. And what really inspires me about Ed and why I stand for the Lib Dems is the amount of focus that we put on care and caring for people in the community. That's why, nationally we support policies like giving high quality care to people when they need it, standing up for unpaid carers, and ending the postcode lottery for care. But here locally in Harrow, I'm really proud to have a group of people around me who talk to me about disability and the issues that disabled people go through. None more so than my candidate, my running mate in Pinner, Sarah Ismail. Some of you will know Sarah, but she is a person who suffers from cerebral palsy, but she's one of the most remarkable individuals that I know. She is fantastic at holding me to account about the policies that we're setting in the Harrow Lib Dems around helping people with disabilities. And she is an inspiration to me. She really is. And the Lib Dems this year, we're standing on the platform of positive change. How can we change for the better? Because I think we can all agree that the politics in the UK has taken a really nasty turn. There's some really nasty comments out there, and as politicians, we feel it, we see it, but it's our job to make it a better place to be and a better place to live. And much has been said about other parties and what they've done over the years. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that, but there are failings. Children's services in Harrow being rated inadequate in Ofsted ratings. We've got parties blocking send provisions in Harrow as well. And we have other parties looking to abolish diversity, equality and inclusion mechanisms that provide routes to gainful employment for disabled people, things we completely stand against as the Harrow Liberal Democrats. So that's why we're campaigning on a number of things that we'll go into over the course of this afternoon, including improving children's services, providing housing for people that's genuinely affordable, providing support for people who are living with disabilities, and really listening to people in our communities to work out how we can make Harrow the best place to live for everyone. So thank you very much. I look forward to taking your questions.